What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dollars coming to you live from the living room with another episode of the Make It Make Sense podcast here with Gezz and Red in the building. What's good, y'all?
What's up?
You already know. It's your boy Ronnie G's. Holla.
How y'all feeling? How y'all doing? Everybody good?
Chilling.
Bless.
Gezz feeling good, doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing good, bro. You already know what it is.
We chilling here on what was a nice day in New York. Then a torrential downpour, and now it's looking like that's what it is. So it's going
Niggas car overheating, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's what we be wanting, just quiet nights. That's not too much to ask for.
Not at all.
Speaking of, before we get into these topics real quick, you know, me and Gezz hit the streets last week. You know, it was our boy OT 40th birthday. Shout out to him. So before we end the topics, I just wanted to talk about if there's some type of cultural good divide. We had a good time. Birthday party was, you know, he had hibachi and it was cool. But the part that I wasn't getting is why everything they did had to involve with something going in somebody's mouth.
Hey, yo.
I just couldn't get that. Gezz, could you explain why everything was sake for your mouth and open your mouth and play this game with something ending up in your mouth? I know I'm kind of uncultured swine, so you know what I'm saying, like maybe you could tell me.
I've been to hibachi a few times in my lifetime, but it literally was a lot of sake in everybody's mouth. I just wasn't. Me personally, I didn't drink no sake. It just wasn't my thing. Teach his own. I have to say this though. This is a joke that I made, Dollars, before you got there. It was a point where the guy that was cooking the food, the hibachi, he goes, "Okay, sake in my mouth, sake in your mouth."
Yo.
Right, and I'm looking right, and he got the sake. He gets 2 bottles of sake. He takes the sake. He goes, "You sprayed in my mouth, I sprayed in your mouth." I just looked at the person who was doing it. I said, "What is this, 69?
What is going on?"
I tell you no lie, everybody started laughing. But in my mind, I'm serious. Like, is this 69? Like, why are you spraying sake in his mouth and he's spraying sake in your mouth? But teach his own. But
and it's like, you know, I don't want to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to normalize not saying pause and no homo to everything, but it was a little crazy, right? I'm not gonna lie. It was a little crazy, but we had a good time though. Shout out to OT. The food was good. It was a little cold, but outside. But other than that, it was a good time.
And
but
I think that was,
I'm gonna need somebody to explain
great.
that. What?
I think that's a great idea for those who do it. Like it was dope. Like for me, it ain't really my thing, but I enjoyed myself. Even though I wasn't taking no sake in my mouth.
Yeah, it was different. It was just the mouth and the sake part wasn't equating. So I don't know. Maybe that's a cultural divide. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to get somebody up here that could maybe explain that better. All right, though. So off of that, the first topic I wanted to discuss was the beef going on right now between Joe Budden, Mal, and Rory. So for those who don't know what's been going on recently, Complex put out a list of the top hip hop podcasts, and they had Joe at number 1. So while discussing it on their show, Mal and Rory was giving him his props, but also throwing a few shots. Y'all heard it. So Joe had a response calling them the bare minimum boys, which I thought was pretty funny. And they responded with "Keep my name out your mouth," and he responded by proceeding to have their names in his mouth.
Dallas, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
I definitely want to get to the question you just asked, but. Mm-hmm. They said hip hop, like, is that over Drink Champs and $1 Million for Game?
Those are in it, yeah. He was 1, Act was 2. They're on the list, but I just don't know where.
They said hold on. Joe was 1 and Academics was 2?
Yeah, I wish I would have pulled up
$1 Million Game and Drink Champs? Okay.
They were on there. One of them you just said was 3, but don't quote me.
All right.
So again, they weren't, you know, Rory anyway gave him props for the placement, but he threw his little shots. But, you know, they basically had a lot to say, and he had what he had to say. So y'all know the history of why they left the show and everything that happened. So with this recent going on, whose side you on? Who you got?
I'm gonna have to say Joe, because only you know, like, your podcast team, and like if he say Mal was showing up late, he was showing up late. Part of being part of a team is showing up on time and doing your part. So I feel like I'm gonna have to agree with Joe.
But that's one side. That's his side.
For me personally, I feel like over the years, just watching Joe, I know Joe. I don't know Joe personally, but it seems like Joe could be a little rough to work with.
Yeah.
He's very sarcastic and he has his ways, and at the same time, I get it though, because this was like Joe rebirth. Like, his podcast was his rebirth. You know, like that's the way he started making a lot of money again and becoming popular again, because the Jump Off was I don't know how many years ago that song was out, but I kind of I fuck with Joe. Like, yeah, I kind of agree with him, but like Dollars, you said there's two sides to every story, and
yeah, we gotta pick a side. So I'm going with him. I found what he said pretty funny. You know what I mean? But the one thing I would say is that what Rory is missing, and he was saying keep his name out his mouth. He don't really talk about Joe. From what I've seen, he really doesn't. But what I don't know if he understands is that Mal be talking about him. So if, like, we got a show together, if G shit on somebody, I'm gonna catch the strays. That's kind of how it goes. We sitting next to each other. We doing something. If you shit on someone, I'm gonna catch the strays by sitting next to you. Yeah. So Rory's catching the strays because Mal is the one saying shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it goes. You sitting right next to him. That's just how this shit go. You know what I mean? So even though he's not personally saying nothing, which is, I got him. He's right. I haven't really heard him say much.
But you're not
Mal be saying shit.
Yeah, you're not stopping him from saying it.
Yeah, so that's you gonna catch the strays. I don't know what else he expect.
I guess he was thinking that their relationship.
They don't have no relationship.
Yeah, his thing, he was saying, keep my name out your mouth, because his basis was saying, I don't talk about you. I don't speak on you.
You don't, but your homeboy do, and you side with him, so you going to catch these strays.
And who knows if he even side with him, because he be quiet from what I hear. Like G just said, like, you don't co-sign him, but you don't stop him either. So
do you feel like silence when it comes to certain subjects is an agreement? Because if you don't feel a certain way, you might stop a person like, I don't see it that way, or you might interrupt them like, I see where you're coming from, but not so much
sometimes, but you can't always do that, because sometimes it can make for a bad discussion or bad podcast. And if somebody making a point and you just cutting in like, I don't agree, like, as long as it's nothing off the wall, like something crazy, it's just like, well, that's their opinion. I don't really feel the need to necessarily, like, chime in, especially if you shitting on somebody.
But how about if you disagree? If you disagree, you just hold that back and not say anything, or you rather check your person behind scenes and right, wrong, and indifferent. You staying with us as being a podcast together, and it's just like a friendship, right? Like, I might check you, like you do something wrong in public, but I'm riding with you. But then behind scenes, I might be like, yo, Dollars.
You saying pull them to the side. I mean, I don't know. I assume they do pre-show like we do and talk about what they're gonna talk about on the show sometimes, so that it's not really much of a surprise. Like, here I am. But that's the big divide that no one like knows about. It really comes down to like the majority of the beef is that Joe saying they didn't put in the work and do what they were supposed to, and they're expecting money, and they're saying they did what they were supposed to, and he was basically taken from them. And if nobody knows and those conversations is not had, then
I mean, that's on you to make sure, like, you come to agreement of terms before you do that. Like, that's on you. So I don't know if that's technically true or not, whether he stole from them, but I mean, that's on you to make sure, like, oh, I'm getting paid, you understand what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, whatever.
So are we gonna go back to the beginning where Mal and Rory was like, yo, we just asked to do the tax thing, like, yo, let me get my accountant to look over the paperwork, right? Because that's what it all stems from.
Yeah, and right, even that, there was two different sides. They claim he gave them basically a spreadsheet that you can make at home. He's saying that came from his people who do his taxes, like his accountant. So it's like, who do you believe? Because whoever you believe, then that sounds you know that's the side you're probably gonna go on, because someone can't give you some homemade Excel spreadsheet and be like, yo, this is the business. You're gonna be like, yo, what the F is this? Like, I ain't taking that. You know what I mean? Like, if you believe Rory and them, but if you believe Joe that his accountant really gave it to them, then
I think that one of the big mistakes that they underestimated was how big that podcast was gonna make it, man. They probably thought like, oh, we're gonna do this, you know, we cool. I mean, Mal is the black guy, right? I think that because I forget. I think that you know,
Joe differentiates them. The
Joe
black one and the white
for
one.
years, right? Named. Joe know more for years. Mm-hmm. He probably thought like, oh, you know, we do it, we boys, this and the third, and then Rory came along, or however it came along, and everybody was just vibing. I don't think they expected for them to be making so much money, and money was going to become a division between them.
So I'm going to say this. If you expect to get paid for that, that's like a job. So if you expect your job to pay, you expect that paperwork to be correct. So why you not make sure that was correct before you started getting into business?
I totally agree with you. I can't even disagree with you.
And I want to bring up a big point, y'all. So I feel like one of the big contentions they had when they was in their beef was in regards to what was happening with the money, what was happening with the YouTube channel, and what they was entitled to. And that's one thing I agree 100% with John from what he was saying. From what it looks like, he's the one putting in the work, the promotion. He was the one putting up the YouTube channel. You get what you put in. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he's saying Mal wasn't showing up on time and they weren't doing this and they weren't doing that, you can't not do these things and then expect to get things split equally. It doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, we go through the same thing. Everybody don't put in equally to our show. So when we make it and it's time to split the pie, why would we split it evenly? And if we don't, and it's a problem for someone, well, then it would be like, yo, it is what it is. They might feel away. I feel like that's how Rory and Mal might feel. But from Joe's side, why would I pay you equally when we're not all putting in equal work?
That's a fact.
Just because we started it together or something, or we did the same amount of episodes, so what?
I think that for me personally, I think I just feel like not everybody's putting in the same amount of work, but you know, when we all show up to do a podcast, it's all of us. People pay, or they don't pay, or they want to see.
Let me stop you right there. It's more to a podcast than just showing up.
Exactly.
It's more to a podcast than just coming and just dressing and looking nice and putting your 2 cents in every now and again. Like, it's more to it than just that.
It's a lot of other work. That's
totally agree with you.
Bare minimum. Like he said, we don't want to be the bare minimum boys, because again, if we got bare minimum boys, they're gonna get the bare minimum when it's time to split the pie, right?
But I also think everybody's work ethic is different, everybody's vision is different, and that plays a part in it, right? Could we at least agree on that? Because
if you just gonna come and just show up, you're gonna get paid for a person that just comes and shows up.
So I will agree with that. If you could give me a little explanation, what do you mean?
I say that because, like you said, some people in their mind thinking them just showing up, being on the podcast is enough.
Okay.
They don't think about the editing. They don't think about promotion. They don't think about
none of the other
putting money towards cards or business cards or promoting on your Facebook or Instagram. They
putting the videos up.
Literally don't.
But
fixing up the audio.
I get that. You're right, because I would be the first to admit, before we actually started doing this podcast, I didn't know everything that went into doing a podcast. When we had our conversation about what's the hardest things, I said that was one of them. It was more than I expected. But also, work ethic or not, you doing something, you should grow, right?
I agree with you.
So that's why I see what you mean by work ethic, but it don't mean that person, I don't know if I agree, they don't have work ethic. They might just not have it for this necessary, or for that specific thing.
I gotta let me rephrase that to not work ethic. I'm gonna say passion, right? Because that's what it's all about.
Okay.
It's about the passion that you feel about anything you do in life. If you're gonna play football, it's the passion, it's the dedication. Everybody's dedication is different, right? Now, I'm not gonna blame somebody for having a less dedication, but what I would say is that I can blame them if I'm willing to do it and putting time and effort, and you're not.
I don't blame them either. I only blame you if you have a problem when it comes time to split that pie or when it comes time to give out the credit. Like if you don't put in equal work, don't expect equal pay. Don't expect equal praise. Don't expect, that's all.
I totally agree with you.
So you feel like what you said.
But for me, I felt like that's behind the scenes. So I don't know how more involved. But I feel like I watched the show.
That was one of the major beefs I remember them having was them not getting bread off of his YouTube. And I remember thinking like, yo, that's his YouTube channel. That's him doing them. Like if you want YouTube bread, put up your own YouTube or whatever, like figure out your own way to monetize the show the same way. If you have all the clips, the same access to the same info he has, take it and use it. You know what I mean? That was where I was like, if that part is true, I agree with him. And it appears, to be true. I know his that channel was popping, way before the podcast.
I to be honest with you, and I like both of their shows. I like how Maury and Rory do the skits.
Maury,
you are not the father.
That is a lie.
My bad. More and Rory, they do the skits. When I first seen that first skit, I was hilarious. Like they went like for a job, and it was hilarious to me. Joe Budden's added.
One of the things though, not to go real quick, when he called them the bare minimum boys. One of the things I seen in their Discord was that people saying their Patreon is whack. Like they don't be doing the skits and stuff like that no more. They don't be barely posting no content on there and shit like that. They just stopped doing those things.
Well, I know not to a fact, but I do. I
don't listen, so I don't
to their
know.
Show a little bit. Mm-hmm. They definitely stopped that. They definitely
stopped that's what they were
skits.
saying. They said they stopped doing the skits.
First of all,
they were saying they don't really address nothing. Like they don't talk about nothing.
Yo, bro, they
spicy and whatnot.
They're not even doing a podcast frequently. Like they do it here and there. I subscribe to them. They're not even doing a podcast frequently like Joe.
And for those who don't know, Patreon is a subscription service. So you paying, it's like Spotify or something. So when you paying for one specific creator, a group of creators, Patreon, you're paying, for extra content, bonus content from that person or group of people that nobody else has access to. So if they ain't posting nothing, then you ain't getting, you ain't getting your money's worth.
Did they make that list?
No, they were not on the list. That was one of Joe's laughing at them. Yeah, they're considered. One of his, when he was cracking jokes, he said people who not on the list should worry about why they're not on the list instead of critiquing those on the list.
Is it 50 or what was it like?
I wish this is the part where we didn't research enough before the podcast. I didn't go through the whole list. I didn't even. I don't know how many. I didn't even.
Okay, because I was like,
I just went through the topic.
The top.
Yeah. So maybe behind the scenes we can check that out.
Top 20 because how many fucking rap
hip hop podcasts is there even? Yeah, that's a good question.
If we did the research, it'd be a whole bunch of them.
Way more than we probably even thinking about, right? And we could even listen to. There's a lot of podcasts out there. A lot of podcasts.
It makes sense.
Yeah, right? Is the one y'all should be listening to if you could find it. Sense. So going off of that, we're going to see how that end, though. So Joe said he done talking about them, so we going to see. He said he ain't going to talk about them no more. They ain't going to talk about him. So we'll see if they all really stick to that. So going off of the Joe Budden thing, recently, I just seen a couple days ago, they said the U.S. won't be bringing up charges for the death in Shanquella, I hope I'm saying her name, Robinson's death, who died in Mexico from what appeared to be a beating from her friends. So this happened a while ago. This was a couple months ago, I feel like.
But now the case is finally like...
Yeah, so it went kind of, it was no word I heard about it until this came out recently. So we all saw the video, right?
Yeah,
everybody saw it. We never spoke about it. So one, how do you guys feel about the video? And two, how do you feel about them not bringing charges against the people in the video?
For me, the video was very disgusting and it's sad.
Yes,
absolutely.
As a parent, you would never wish to see your kid go through that. Me personally, I was just like, how do you not prosecute them? And I think mainly because it happened in Mexico, because that happened in the United States. Oh my God, the cameraman probably be going to jail for life, or at least years.
Everybody. Red?
I mean, as a mother of a daughter, like, that pisses me off. Like, they should have charged those people. Everybody that was in that room should have got charged. And it's like, damn, how y'all not gonna charge at least manslaughter or something? Maybe not even murder, but like manslaughter or something. Like, that's wild to me.
How it's nothing. I'm gonna say these two things. The first is, I hate to bring up the race card, but I feel like if her name was Jane Smith or something, this would not go.
Definitely.
This would not, first of all, have gone away in the media as quickly as it did. And there's no way them girls and that person that dude would have got away with what they did. The second thing I gotta say is, man, I tell you, women are vicious. Like, men are bad, men hate, women hate. Man hate is different. Man hate is, look at him, he think he fly. Man hate is, that shit whack, or I see you. But a woman, like, think of the hate you gotta have to befriend someone, invite them on a vacation to a whole nother place. You know what I mean? Just to put the beats on them because you jealous or whatever. Like, that's a different kind of.
That's methodically planned out.
That's a different kind of energy, a different kind of hate. Like, women is different, man. Like, that's some thought out, planned out hate, and it's disgusting. And to have to watch that and to see that footage as a parent or anyone that cared or loved about her, you know, who loved her, has to be disheartening. It's crazy to me.
I just don't understand how basically you get away with murder and you just get away with it. Like, it's no consequences.
But no charges at all. Not just murder. Like, they're not charging them with nothing.
Not on the U.S. side. So unless they get extradited, to Mexico. So I don't know how that works. Because you know, you hear about people being extradited to the United States all the time. I don't really hear about them being extradited out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they probably could run or something, or
that depends how Mexico
under the radar.
Is looking at it, you know. But again, it shouldn't matter, black, white, Indian, whatever the race. That should be looked at seriously. Somebody being assaulted like that on camera, somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, somebody's loved one, like
last moments.
That's nuts. Yeah, and how evil were them people in that room to just sit there and watch that? Somebody, like, that was some bully shit, y'all. Like, somebody not even fighting back.
Their hands on her.
That's the era we live in. No, it was just one girl beating her up, but they.
I feel like one of them either pushed her or something, pushed her back, or I don't remember.
I know they were saying fight back.
I know there was a couple people watching though. The point is, nobody stopped it. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody's not even.
And the whole report, the autopsy. Remember?
What about it?
Weren't we talking earlier? And they were saying that
her spine wasn't fractured,
but
they were saying she had head trauma and other thing. I don't remember the other items they said was in the autopsy report
or something like that. Probably.
When I seen that video, it's weird because when you watch that video, I seen that video on World Star like weeks before they even brought it up
before
in the news,
it kind of hit the media a bit, right?
So when I seen it, I was like, "Oh shit, Shorty got her butt whooped or whatever." Didn't know she died
off of it, because there was no contact.
Yeah, I was sad, and it was like I said, you know, as parents, that's one of your worst nightmares. Because she went on a vacation with her so-called friends. But this was a plan the whole time.
Daughter goes on a vacation.
She comes out the shower. She's half naked, and you trying to fight her. Like, to me, that shit was just weird. But I guess...
And she wasn't even fighting back. It's a crazy part.
Yeah, I know. Like I said.
That was the crazy part.
That makes it even worse. And I want to say, so I don't want to put that out there if I'm not for sure, but I don't recall seeing this story on any mainstream media. Nope. The places that I seen it was the internet, like Instagram, Shade Room, like, you know, the black corners of the internet, Black Twitter, Shade Room.
No, I seen it on the news.
You did see it on the major news? Okay.
Yeah, I seen it on the
That's
major
why I said
news.
I don't want to put it out there to say because I didn't see it. But put it like this. He seen it, Red did it, I did it. And I feel like even if a majority saw it, it's not as many people who saw that Gabby Petito story.
Yes, I was just thinking that
the
too.
white girl that went missing.
The girl,
her
boyfriend.
Oh,
he killed her.
That was all over the day.
Yeah, that wasn't just in the recesses of the internet. Like,
but I think
if I would have asked the people in the room who saw that story, everyone would have been like, yeah, everybody saw that mainstream story, and that's
because
what I'm talking about when I say I don't want to bring in
has something to do with law enforcement. That's the only reason why too.
Yeah, I guess
it's a sad situation. It's just like that girl who got killed in the freezer in Chicago.
Oh yes, I remember.
I think her name is Shanika or something. I can't.
McKenna something.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
It's like when it come to us, it's a lot of murders that be unsolved and they just brush it under the rug after the end of the day.
Yeah. But usually video evidence and camera work is the end all be all. It's like things aren't so bad until you see it on camera. Then it's like, oh, that's outrageous. We can't stand for that.
Yeah.
So you would think seeing something like that on camera and seeing somebody lose their life so senselessly would have sparked, well, I won't say it didn't spark outrage because it did, but I didn't see it more mainstream. And that they're not bringing charges. And again, that's not mainstream. Like, again, I seen it on like the Shade Room on Instagram, but I didn't see it no major networks. I didn't see nobody else reporting it. Or
it was
like under the radar.
The shit happened and it was big for a week, and then
moved on to the next.
Which is usually how the internet works. Usually with fuck shit, but this is something a little more seriously. So you would have hoped, it would have been taken more seriously by mainstream, because again, I did see it, like I said, in the black recesses of the internet, but that's not big enough. That's not gonna get it done, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So hopefully more comes out of this, like those involved actually get, what they deserve, because this shit was foul. We all seen it like this.
I'm not saying they need to get life or they need to go to jail but they at least need to check this out.
Yeah, that was some evil shit, bro. I think they need to go to jail for a long time. At least the main one who was putting her paws on her at the bare minimum.
She need 25 to life.
For real, right? That Martin Lawrence Eddie Murphy sentence for that, because that shit was not cool. So we're gonna see what happens with that, and we're gonna monitor it, even though it might not be in the mainstream media. We're gonna keep our eyes on that story. So moving off of that, onto something a little lighter, something I wanted to discuss that I've been seeing a lot that I noticed is the whole tipping industry, and I wanted to ask my fellow podcast mates if it's getting out of control. Like, as y'all know, tipping is something that's part of the server industry. You go out to eat, that's a given. You tip them. You order Chinese food occasionally. You tip the driver, the bicycle delivery man, $1 or $2. You know what I mean? That was about pretty much where it stopped.
Like haircut,
pretty much, maybe
nails.
You tip the barber, nail salon.
You might tip the guy who helped you bring the bags to your car at the grocery store.
Expected things that you expect.
But
to tip
the
for.
key word was, okay, all of those was agreed except he said the guy that brings, maybe. But agreed, maybe. But those about the baselines. But now it's gotten to the point where we have to pre-tip. So you order food on delivery apps, you expect it to pre-tip. You order services, like you could have your pet groomed, you got to pre-tip. Okay. You go check out at the supermarket, they asking you if you want to tip or donate to cancer kids or people with bad hearts.
Charities.
Any type of charity, exactly. You go to any stores, they asking you if you want to donate to things at checkout. It's gotten to the point where you're expected to tip, and if you don't tip, you're made to feel guilty for not tipping. And then now they don't even give you the option if you want to tip. It's straight up telling you, like, recommended 15, 20, 30%. 30%. Then they got it on the 10-inch iPad screen for everyone to see what you picked. Right behind you, like, oh, look at this cheap motherfucker. Like,
I'm broke. That South Park episode.
Yeah, you don't care about kids with cancer. Like, oh, you don't got $1. So you just spent $548, but you don't have $1.37 your change for kids with cancer. Like, Do you guys, either
Can
one
you
of you
just
think
say
it's
that
getting
into
out
a
of control?
loudspeaker?
Understandable. If you can just speak into the voice decoder and say, I'm not giving anything to the hungry kids.
I'm not giving anything to the hungry kids.
So with the ice cream, the vodka, pizza pockets, and nothing for hungry
As
kids,
someone who
that's
worked in the service industry,
$37.83.
geez, I know you have a different view. So
I definitely
tell
would
me.
speak upon it. I think you should tip for certain things, not for everything, because people who get tips are normally people who get paid under minimum wage. So that's that for me. That's a big deal within itself. You know, I've been a server for 15 years. I was a waiter for 15 years, and I relied on my tips, and that's how I live my life. But at the same time, I've been guilty of not tipping people for certain things that they did. Like one time I went to the gas station, and everybody like, "Oh, you should tip the person who pumped your gas." Why? Why should I tip him?
For doing his job?
His job.
I think that's the difference now. There's a distinction between somebody doing their job and what's a service.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I think is like, because some will argue him pumping your gas is performing the same service as a waiter, but nah,
it's really not.
Yeah, like
it's really not.
No,
Yeah.
sometimes there's places where you can't even pump your own gas. Like you have to let them pump your gas
Exactly.
for you. So are you supposed to pay them too because you couldn't do it?
that's a good point. Where do you fall on the tip culture, Red?
I feel like we shouldn't be responsible for paying the gap in the salary that their employer won't pay. But I do feel like there's certain things I expect to tip for, like certain services, like you said earlier, like going out to eat, maybe my nails, eyebrows, or regular stuff like that. But I don't expect for it to just pop up all the time. And I don't like that, because then it's like I'm always looking around, and I go to the dollar store, look, oh, you want to donate, or oh, you go to the drugstore, oh, do you want to donate? Like, that's so annoying. And then they ask you, like, if you don't want to donate, just press this button right here.
Just
like,
hit the no key.
This out to me. I know how to use it.
Yeah, and it's gotten to the point where we're expected to supplement the wages that they don't want to pay. You know, like, well, we underpaying them, so we need you to tip them. Like, even though this Uber ride was $89.56, could you please tip Muhammad an extra 10%? Like, bro,
that extra 10% is an extra
bruh.
$10, $15.
Pay $100?
Yeah, like, bruh, I just spent like $93. Muhammad, I don't even have a car. Why I gotta tip you?
It's funny
like,
you say
it's
that.
unfortunate, but
$100
maybe
in my
Uber
tank.
should give you more of a cut of my $93 rather than me having to tip you.
I totally agree with you. And like I said, I was a waiter. The funny thing about it is, like, I order Uber Eats.
Expensive.
And with that tip, it could go from, first of all, Uber Eats and all these like different order websites, apps or whatever. You order a $8 plate, and before you know, you like, it's $20. You be like, yeah, the plate is only $8. They charge you all these different fees, and then on top of the fees they charge you, they basically making you add a tip
on top of it. Exactly. There's the food, then there's a tax, then there's a delivery charge, then there's a surcharge, then there's an Uber fee. So you mean if I go pick my food up, it's $8, but if I get it delivered, it's $47.
Yeah.
And it might be cold. And somebody might eat some of my fries.
90% of the time it's gonna be cold when you order certain kind of food.
Yeah.
If you order Chinese food, it might come hot.
So,
other than that,
so then I gotta pay the extra $2 for priority, which may or may not get me my food quicker.
And if your food still might be cold. That's a
I'm
crazy
putting it to
thing.
you
About
like
it.
this. I live in an apartment building, so if I gotta come downstairs, that you ain't getting no tip. I'm sorry. I'm paying for you to come upstairs. Bring my food upstairs.
Oh, let's be clear. Dollars takes tips away. Like I that's one thing too. I do. I'll give a tip, and if you don't deserve it, you don't bring my food, I will take it away.
Man, listen, I got a story to tell.
Listen, okay. Story time.
This motherfucker, and this happened every time. I had to stop doing this shit. It's a Chinese restaurant that is literally like down the block from my house. This motherfucker, this Chinese restaurant takes like 45 to almost an hour to deliver food.
Damn,
right? And they live literally right down the block from my house.
They're killing the chicken.
And then he comes. And you know, I have, they say like, let's just say it'd be like, oh, $29.95. So I give him $30 or I had $30 in my hand. And then, you know, I'm going to give him a tip, of course. This mother effer, I got to know to be like, no tip, no tip. I look at him like,
remember that era?
Can I pay for the food and I'm going to get in my pocket and give you the tip? To me, that's just...
There was a shift when Chinese men started getting fresh. Because I remember when I used to order from the Chinese restaurant in Rockaway, shout out to them, they made good honey barbecue chicken wings. But when they would deliver the food and that was it, then he would start saying, no tip, numero dollar. Then he stopped speaking. He would just put his hand out. It's like, this mother effer. Yeah, like, what is it? Is it expected now? Like, aren't you the delivery person?
Should have gave him some sake for his mouth.
Yeah, right. Right? Sake for his mouth. But I think that's the different. There's different kind of. Wait, was it a slanty eye, angry eye? There's different kinds.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's wrong. I can't do that.
We're not racist.
Right? Yeah, we're not. Edit that. Edit. We don't have a video dude, but we just edit that out. We'll just edit that
that's
part.
A fact.
So yeah though. So just moving off of that, we're gonna get into this next topic real quick. Toxicity in friendships. Do you believe in supporting all your friends' decisions, whether they're right or wrong? This was something we spoke about pre-show briefly. So how do you guys feel?
I feel like, no, I'm not gonna support you. And I feel like if you support somebody, whether it's right or wrong, you a yes man. And I don't need a yes man around me. Like, I want a real friend is gonna tell you like, yo, I don't think that's such a good idea. Now, whether you take their advice or not, that's on you. But for you to sit by and let your friend just basically either make a choice that's gonna ruin their life or somebody else's life, like, and you not say something, you not a real friend.
Okay. I will say this. At one point, I am the friend that's gonna be like, yo, if somebody's doing something wrong, or I know they doing something wrong, or something I don't agree with, I will say something. But now I'm to a point where not all the time. I'm only gonna expand that energy
like one time. That's it.
On somebody that's gonna actually listen. Like if I got a friend that like will ask me something and they'll genuinely listen, or if I see them doing something effed up, I think that, you know, they just doing it because they might not know better or whatever, then think it through, then I'm gonna speak. But if it's a friend that I know is not gonna listen or it's gonna be a waste of my time, I'm gonna be honest. I don't feel like I might not support it, but I don't have to say anything. I don't think by me not saying anything is necessarily supporting it. Like I could just be like, oh, that's cool, or okay, you know what I mean, and leave it as that. And that's not me showing support or shooting it down.
So I won't give them my opinion unless they ask for it. Like, what you think? Like, but like you said, you could be like, oh, okay, that's cool. But unless they ask me, I won't come out and just be like, oh, I don't think that's such a good idea. Most time, they're not going to take your advice anyway.
I have to say this, though. I think that women and men advice is different. So
how so?
I think that I can say something to Dollars and he take it. I feel like when it comes to women, their advice might not be taken or taken the same way. I could tell Dollars exactly how I feel about something he did or something he said. And he could say, all right, Ron, I see, or nah, you bugging. When it comes to women, because men and women have different kind of friendships. Let's be clear about it.
But you know about
so let me ask you a question. When you say men and women,
friendship?
So are all your male friends like that? Can you tell all your male friends like, nah, you're bugging or that's wrong,
Yes.
and They'll take it. Okay.
I could be a straight shooter with my friends. What do I know about?
No, women? I know you can say it, but I'm saying, will they listen? I'm not asking you, can you say it? Yes, you can say it, but will they listen? You can't
make nobody listen to what you say.
It's not making. Will they listen? Not making someone, like you said. You could tell me something, and I will tell you like, oh yeah, like nah, that's crazy. But sometimes I tell you like, nah, you're right. That makes sense. So I'm asking, like, yeah, that's me as an example. Yes. But all of your male friends the same is what I'm asking you. Whereas if you tell them something, sometimes they'll agree, but sometimes they'll tell you like, yeah, nah, you're right. I'm going to take that into consideration.
My thing is this.
Because when you say that about women, that's why I asked that.
So my views is my views. So when I talk to my friends, I'm going to tell them my views. Now, they might agree, they might disagree. But when it comes to women, I know one thing about women. Mm-hmm. A lot of women their friendships don't last as long as men friendships. There's not too many people. There are a lot of men who have friends since they were like kids. There's not too many women who have friends that they grew up in the mud with. It's just not.
I'm not sure what that has to do with supporting your friend's toxic decisions, but Red, you could.
Okay. So let me elaborate.
You can answer what he said though if you want.
You can't speak on women's friendships. He didn't ask you that. No, you can't. And I'm going to tell you why. Like, he didn't ask you that. He asked you... What was the question you asked him?
Oh, sorry. What was the question
If you believe in toxicity, if you believe in defending your friends, even if they're toxic.
He didn't ask you about women friendships and toxicity and all that.
So, like I was saying, I was able to... When it comes to like my friends, mm-hmm. I'm able to express exactly how I feel with them.
What you want, how you feel. Okay.
Now,
there's no issue.
I know for a fact that when it comes to women, they feel like they might be judged, or they feel like, oh, you're telling me something that you wouldn't do, or you're just jealous of me, or especially that's just how women are.
Two things could be true at the same time, but you can't say that's the case for every single woman. But you can't say that, oh, like you majored in women's study or something.
I don't have to. I just had relationships.
You just going by experience.
And that's what I'm speaking upon.
All right. Well, I personally feel like that's both. Go ahead.
Hold on, Dollars. I want to say one thing. Now, I knew Black. Now, I'm about to name my friends. I knew Black, Petey,
about to blurt that out.
Everybody since the mud. Since we were kids, right? Right? I want to ask Red, how many friends you got?
Yeah, you're going to have to blurt
How
that
many
out
friends
too.
you got?
That time. That's not the first time he said
Hold
that.
on. But my bad. How many friends you got? 20 years. How many friends you got that you had a friendship, 20 years that you still keep in contact with? 20 years. I'm not talking about.
I don't keep in contact with a lot of people, but I'm saying that in the cases like me personally, I don't really have that many friendships, if any friendships that lasted that long. But I had a friendship that lasted for quite a few years on and off, and I'm just saying it depends on the friendship and the situation, like what happened between the two people for them to feel like, all right, we're not friends no more.
Now,
so you were saying women don't tend to be friends as long as men. Okay.
So when it comes to being toxic, like I said, I'm able to express that to my friend and be like, and he don't feel no kind of way.
And when I say like, toxicity in friendships, because that's a strong word, that means like, somebody that's doing shit extra wrong or extra foul, and whether or not you choose to co-sign it, sit back, say nothing, you know what I mean? If that person is making right or wrong decisions. And for me, I know I don't know that to be a woman or a man thing. Like some people listen, some people don't. That's just how some people is built. And I tend to notice that. So my thing is, somebody asks me advice, especially the first time, I'm going to give it. And if I feel like you're the kind of person that's going to actually listen or you're going to heed it, sometimes, because you shouldn't listen to something all the time. I definitely don't expect nobody to listen to something I say all the time. But if you take it into consideration and you listen sometimes, like, cool. But if I could tell you the type of person where it's like I'm talking to a brick wall or it's going one ear and out the other.
Well, you sound like you trying to persuade me.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna waste my time. It's like I'm trying to argue someone down or trying to convince them. If I'm just trying to hey, I'm trying to help you out, Chief.
I think that we are more likely to listen without judgment.
That's your opinion.
When it comes to friendship.
Jeez, always find a way to turn something into a gender war.
I'm sorry, Ray.
There's a lot of judgmental dudes out there, but I was like, but that's your opinion.
I don't feel like I'm speaking from my experience, and when I say that,
and I'm talking
about my circle.
All I can speak for is mine. I can't comment on women friendships because I've only had about 2 female friends that I was close with like that in my life, and I can't recall any kind of advice I'd had to give them other than some relationship shit they was going through. Not much we have in common. So I done had plenty of male friends, and most of them niggas don't listen ever. So I don't see that as a male or woman thing. I just look at it as a people thing. Because if I went by that, I would just say dudes don't listen. I don't think it's a dude thing.
Yeah, I think you're wrong when you say that because your friends are some of my friends. I don't feel like they don't listen. I feel like certain things they feel about the certain situation that we're talking about might not agree.
Yo, my guy, we doing a podcast right now. What you doing?
Pay attention, son. This is for your own good.
Yeah, I know. He's watching the Nick Cleveland game and he's all into it like a fan. So
I'm
he's
not
half
gonna lie,
talking,
I was in it earlier.
half watching the game. But you could just watch and don't talk. But if you start talking, you're watching.
I said,
about to cut his mic.
I deal I don't have too many female friends, but I dealt with females who have friends, and I just seen slowly but surely. You'll point as a man. You'll point certain things out with a female that they have friends or whatever, and it'll come to light. Like one time I dealt with this girl, and I'm like, "Yo, you think those your real friends?" She's like, "Yeah, that's my homegirl." I said, "Don't think I got in common is y'all like to go out and have drinks." Now hold on, Dallas. Now
But that's just the female that you happen to be
And I was gonna say you didn't even have to because I was gonna say I actually think the opposite. I know females to know bad friends quicker than dudes do.
No,
because I've had females point out bad friends to me before I noticed they were bad friends.
No.
So maybe that attests to the kind of So you telling what you see. So maybe that attests to the kind of women you dated. Maybe I dated better women.
That's her and her friends again. That's what I said.
You know what I learned about
saying what you.
You know what I learned about females and friendship. And I'm not going to just say female. I'm going to say friendship in general.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like people who, male or female, if we friends, I don't like you to tell me to do something that you wouldn't do in unison. Same situation. A lot of females do that. Way more than men.
Can I ask you a question? Yes. Do you feel like you could speak on behalf of females?
Hell yeah.
First of all, you're not going to cut me
off.
When
you say that, all it be sounding like to me is you dated bad females because some of the because the experiences you saying are negative. They're not positive experiences you stating. That's not a negative.
What's negative about it? What is negative about what I'm saying?
Did we just not go through? We're
talking about toxicity in friendships, and you're saying women are more toxic than men, but then you're saying these toxic behaviors such as not listening, being stubborn, not being able to maintain friendships, and telling you about your friends. Like, these are all negative traits. Right or wrong?
It is.
So I'll jump to the conclusion that you dating these negative women, those are your experiences. So, but you're equating that to everyone.
No, you're equating the way I feel with the negative woman I dated. No, it's the negative friends of the women who I dated, who I showed them.
But that's still an extension to the women he dated, isn't that? No, because that's her friends.
No, because I have negative friends. That don't equate to who I am.
Okay.
It's nothing. I'm a man at the end of the day. There's nothing one of my friends gonna do because I'm not a follower. I'm a leader. There's nothing he's gonna do that makes me be like, oh, that's gonna question my morals or my principles. No, he could do whatever he want to do. I had a, like, for example, if we go out and one of our friends get drunk and he put his hands on this woman, I'm gonna step in like, yo, you bugging. That don't mean I'm gonna go home and do the same thing, or that even crossed my mind.
But the point I'm making is this: you said, you know, men notice bad friends quicker, females don't, and that's your experience. And I said, well, to me, I notice a female to notice I have a friend that's no good for me before I do. And he was like, hell no. So I'm saying that was your experience. That's mine. So you can't equate yours to all women are this, all women are that. And that's what you're doing. That's what I'm trying to correct you.
You're right. I don't mean all women, right? But what I would say is this.
He didn't fall and hit his head.
What I say is this. Yo, Dollars, man, you could have all kind of conversations, right? Mm-hmm. And we walk away feeling no way about it, right? Ask females, could they do the same thing? A matter of fact, ask a female, could she have a fist fight with one of her friends, and then tomorrow they could be chill? Ask that question.
We would have to get some females that have been tight for a long time.
Ask that question.
And I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure they exist.
Very rarely.
I'm sure they exist, though.
Them conversations that me, you, T, OT, Black, all of us had, when we disagree and we at each other's throats, a lot of women can't even come back from that. And let's not fool each other. We know that.
Don't act like they started talking like right away.
I know, and he said that half of us don't even talk to each other.
We do.
Our friendships about
we
to
have.
what it's not.
Are we on the same podcast?
We have. He be capping. I'm not capping. That was past shit. Half of us barely even talk like that. Yeah, we all got love, but
because we got older, we grew apart from each other, and we going left, we going right, we going. But I'm talking about when we was in there, when we was in the trenches together. Come on, man. We argue one night and we back. Matter of fact, we argue the same night and we still going out to the club buying each other drinks. Come on, man.
I ain't a female, like I said. I said how many I said. So
stop doing that.
I don't know. Stop doing what?
Don't do that. You know,
don't do what?
We done been in the trenches together where we argue and fight with each other all the time and still go out the same night and have a good time with each other. Ask how many females could be at each other's throat and still.
What does that got to do with toxicity? Some might
argue
half of them fights had to cut the nigga off after the fight. Wouldn't have had to have the other shit. You speak to your personal experiences. Cool with your friends. Like, I'm not that fly with all of these niggas, so don't put me in that boat.
A lot of times we had those arguments and we kept it pushing. We could argue about the damn game and be at each other's throats, and then in the next 20, yes,
the game, a fight over a game is different from some of the fights that people done had, and I'll leave it at that. Some of those is a lot more serious.
I agree.
Had people broke up from the first serious fight, they would have never gotten to the 7th or 8th one that finally cut the cord and made things over.
I agree.
So that's a whole nother discussion.
I agree.
So what I'm saying, on how one end you could say what's toxic and what's not, someone could look at that and say staying friends with someone you fist fought with is toxic. So again, make sure you say it's to your experience, but you can't throw a blanket over things like you try to do.
You saying somebody who you get a fist fight with and you shake their hand after the fist fight is toxic?
I said someone from the outside looking in could say. I don't agree with that, but someone from the outside looking in could say that.
I'm just saying. We grown men after the day. We brothers, right? Do brothers and sisters fight?
Yes.
All right, then.
But
so
listen,
if I call you
someone
my brother,
from the outside looking in could say, if someone made you so upset that you came to blows with them, that's not someone that you should be friends with, because nobody should make you that upset. While I might not agree, I could hear that point of view and be like, you know what? I could see that. I might not agree, but that makes sense. But I don't agree, but it makes sense. So there's no way I can make the blanket statement that, well, anybody that fights and makes up, that's a good thing. No,
I didn't say it was a good thing. I'm just saying.
But you said it's not toxic, but someone could say that. And I might not agree, but I could see someone saying that and see their point. That's what I'm saying. So I wouldn't make that blanket statement.
It's toxic because we got into a fist fight?
Not to me, but not to me, but someone could say that. Not that we had it and made up. Someone could say, like, the fact that whatever got you so hot that it got to that point means that you and that person, maybe it's not meant for y'all to be cool.
And the fact that you said, you know how many times, so for you to say multiple, that's definitely somebody.
And that's
might
one,
look at it as
because
toxic.
you're not the only. I've had other friends who I thought we weren't friends ever again, and I should have cut them off from then. So me and you was more the exception than the rule for me, but I still don't look at it as, well, every person I fight with, we could never be friends again. Even though in my experience, more often than not, we fist fought, we weren't cool. But I won't throw that blanket statement just because, you know, that was my experience.
I get it. I can understand where you're coming from. I understand. But back to the question at hand, I think you should be able to support people sometimes if you care about them. I'm not going to say just friendship. If you care about them, right, wrong, and indifferent, as long as they ain't hurt nobody or disrespecting nobody too much. I said too much. you know,
We want
support
kind of
them.
like at all.
I would, you know, for me, I'll be honest with you. I always felt like this. I would hate to be that person to be like to somebody trying to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I've been that person, Dollars. You know, I've been that person that will chop a nigga.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I know that.
if it makes sense, though. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
If you are doing something, I'm not going to be that person that be like, nah, that shit corny, or just hating.
Just for the
But
sake
if
of it.
makes sense, I'm going to follow you, be like, I support you.
That's how friendship should go.
But if it's just blasphemy, like, come on, stop it, bro. Like, you about to get a Lambo, you don't even got a job. How you going to get a Lambo? But you sitting here saying you're going to get a Lambo next week.
That dark
I never
alley,
heard
remember you
those
say you
kind-
want nobody leading you down the dark
you
alley.
got friends like that. Yeah, like, you be like, well, not you. Me more, because you've been on the phone and we be talking about people. I mean, not people. A person, one of our friends be saying stuff, and I'd be like, what? And you'd be like, no, Ron, hear him out. And I'd be like, that don't make any sense. You'd be like, no, Ron, you're not listening to the... And I'm like, Dollars, it doesn't make any sense. But
I know. I be on that hear people out shit.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, it's
to
only
see if
right.
it makes sense.
Listen,
But you sometimes be quicker
I would
on
hate
the
to be that
cut it off.
person.
Yeah.
That be like, oh, nah, that's corny. That, and then that person make it, right? And you be like, damn.
Should have never hated.
So, you know, it's one of those things for me.
But is
just gotta
not
make
supporting
sense.
hate, Tion? If you don't support
Say it
something,
again?
is not supporting necessarily hate.
You said it's not supporting
Is not
hate?
support. If you don't support something, your friend's doing.
For me, it just
that
gotta
it?
make sense. I don't
Right?
know.
Is that a tough
So
one?
I feel like if it's something bad, like, or it's something that might like spark like some kind of like,
Controversy.
yeah, I'll be like, you know what, choose wisely, because you don't want to be on that side where, you know,
Which is understandable.
so it's like,
if you don't want to
you
get
gotta
behind nothing
stand for-
crazy.
you gotta stand for something. Like, don't just be a yes man. Like, yo, support it for the right reasons and not the wrong reasons.
I totally agree. Like, for me, it got to be realistic. Like, if it makes sense, all right, cool. But sometimes people, I'm like, some of their goals be like, no. And like I said, I'm not knocking you.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I never want to be that person where you be like, what, it didn't work out for you.
Yeah.
But-
Your dream killer.
Just gotta sometimes be realistic. Like I said, yo, I'm about to get a Lambo tomorrow. How you get a Lambo? You don't got a job. And you ain't hustling. You don't got no
Somebody
money.
I know.
I keep saying
So my whole thing is like,
No.
I like to support my friends.
I'm
So
saying
like you said,
something
as long
real-
as
I'm
it,
saying something
yeah, just
unrealistic.
yeah.
So people could get the gist of it. Like, bro, you just saying stuff. And if you're a real friend, you heard some stuff from some of your friends that be like, I don't know, but all right.
And I guess that's where me and G defer, because he'll be like, that don't make no sense. I'm going to chop
I'm a
you down.
realist.
I'm more the type that be like, how? Like,
Yeah.
cool, that's what you're saying, but how? Like, I'm gonna ask questions
Yeah, I
and
need a
hear
friend
how
to challenge
intelligent
me.
you sound, and whether or not you saying something that sound feasible or you just sound like an idiot. But I'm not gonna just chop it down, because even if you don't have no job, for me, so what? You might have filled out some ill way to game the system or whatever. Like, you might not even, you could be on the street. Like, if you're my friend, now I'm not gonna listen to the homeless dude on the street with the sign saying he got a business plan.
Definitely
But if you're my
not
friend and it's like,
Project
I'm about
Joe.
to do this, I'm gonna be like, oh, word, how? And then I'm gonna hear what you gotta say, and then I'm gonna form my opinion based off of that.
And I'm the type of person that know who the person is, and you can't.
I ain't trying to hear that shit.
No dreams.
I ain't trying.
That's what kind of person I am. I'm the person who know who you are, and when you say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this and do that," and I know the person who you are, who.
Yeah, he always calls like, stop lying.
I know, right?
Yeah, like I done known you for how many years?
They go by their track record.
You've been yeah, exactly. Like that's just me. That's my personal opinion. Like it ain't nothing. Like I know the go getters.
Jeez, do you want people to judge you on your track record?
On my track record?
Oh man.
Yeah.
On my track record?
Do you want to go down that dark alley?
Oh man.
I'm saying,
yo, Dallas, let's we can, but check it out. I'm not one of them people who say, yo, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, do that. Don't do it. I'm a go getter. That's that. Like I ain't wanna, and I wish. I'd be honest with you. Sometimes I wish I had some of those fictional dreams and fictional plans that some of our friends have. I don't mean to call nobody out, but I live in reality. I live that I gotta work this many hours.
But why it gotta be fictional? I'm curious. Why?
I mean, cause me personally, at first they tell me that what they plan, and I be like, okay, and I have all these negative questions because sometimes I could be a dirtbag, and then a few months or a year later, I be like, I knew I was right because I knew you was kicking bullshit, nigga. Like, come on, say that shit. Say that shit for somebody who don't know you. Don't say it for a nigga who know you.
Ronnie G's number one hater.
Friends like G's who needs enemies.
Hey, check it out. Yo.
If he wasn't on this podcast, he probably would say this shit's whack.
OT told me this. Yo, shout out to my boy Killer. OT told me this. He said it was things I was seeing because I was new to social media. Things I would see like, man, this nigga not like that. He lying. He ain't got this. And OT was like, yo, Ron, if you don't like it, just skip it. I said, all right.
That's
cool.
also true.
He's like, you know who they are? I said, yeah, I do. I said, but I just want to call. He said, Ron, if you don't like it, if it ain't for you, just skip it. Nigga, just don't say nothing. Just skim by it.
You could just keep scrolling, right?
But once in a while, I do get the urge to be like, stop
or
it.
Swipe
but I'd
left.
be like, okay, cool.
Or just make a comment.
Be cool. It's not even a comment. It's a negative comment. So I guess I am a hater. I could be a hater at sometimes.
Hey.
But my hate
Play
real shit. But my hate be like the reality. Like, nigga, stop doing that. You know. Come on, cut it out.
I know, right? Well, to close it out.
Call me out when I'm fucked up too. When I'm lying to. Call me out when I'm lying to. That's what
I'm sure they will. Like I said, I hope nobody don't hear that track record part. But we started. The question was about toxicity and friendships. We went like 18 different directions.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know where we ended, but
make a turn for the left.
If
I was trying to catch up in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, if y'all could just pick apart the parts of that conversation and stitch it together and figure out where we all kind of
make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Make it make sense for us.
Facts.
I'll see what I can do in the editing part. But yo, before we get out of here, because we've been going long, this last topic is actually we're gonna curb this one. F it. We're gonna curb it because we already been out here for an hour. So we're gonna actually get ready to wrap this up. Before we get out of here, you guys want to drop your tags? Say anything?
I want to drop a tag.
You know, I don't got no tag, so
I want to say
information.
This. I want to say all the parents out there, take your kids to see the Mario Brothers movie. It's really good.
That movie was
Go out
dope.
there and take kids
Oh
out.
yeah, we were supposed to give a quick Mario Brothers review.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you about Mario Brothers. I seen it in 3D. It's awesome in 3D. If you don't see it in 3D, it doesn't matter. What they did with this Mario movie is perfect. They added everything from Nintendo to Super Nintendo. They added Mario go-karts. They added Donkey Kong. They added Mario Brothers 3 where he could fly with the raccoon. They added everything. Take your kids to see this movie. It's a good movie, and and spend time with your kids.
This movie review is brought to you by
it's a good
Make
movie.
It Make Sense podcast.
It's only an hour and a half. Go take it. Do what I do. Sleep the last 30 minutes of it. Once you see an hour of it, you're good.
And
Kids don't know.
don't bring in nigglets that talk through the movie and make little sounds because we went to see it. I was not pleased by that sound effect. Yes,
Dallas, they was in there clapping. I'm like, what are y'all clapping?
Michael Jackson sounds in the movie.
I don't know. There was some weird little kid,
bro,
making some
weird Donkey Kong
weird
came out.
Noises.
I was in the movie theater. Donkey Kong came out. Everybody started clapping. I'm like, why are they clapping for Donkey Kong?
By the way, don't go to that Yonkers movie theater. Yeah. It's trash.
By the way, next episode I'm gonna read my Yonkers movie review. Shout out. But yeah, Mario's it was a dope movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I didn't like the Chris Pratt sound effect or that little kid in the movie theaters sound effect. But other than that, it was dope.
That
my
Jack
suggestion
Black
is
song was pretty funny though.
Yeah, and don't go to theater with a bunch of nigglets. But anyway. we're going really rapid. Yeah. That was our Mario Brothers review.
No rapid questions this week?
Nah, I didn't even do the rapid fire. I have.
You went on the tangent.
I did a half-ass job this week.
It's all good, bro.
Like some of the people.
We still showed up.
This show.
Yeah, I'm here.
At least we showed up, right?
The ones that matter showed up.
Yeah, there we go.
So, hey.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
There we go.
We didn't have the rapid
you
fire.
But we had
the fire. Now that's toxicity. Drop your tags, G's. Give your information for your gray box.
You already know it's your boy Ronnie G's. Holla at me on all platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Ronnie G's, M.I.M.S. M.I.M.S, you already know. Holla at me.
He don't respond to none of them.
I do.
He gonna say he'll work on it. You do?
I'm on Twitter every day.
Okay.
Yeah. Instagram, I don't know about. You still told me about the Instagram page. I got like one follower, and I think I follow.
You still got that great picture up, I see, huh?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I gotta work on that.
I don't even got
work
social media, and I know about that.
Episode 24, and counting on him working on that. Red, you ain't got no tags, but you want to say anything before we get out of here?
Alone. I don't have no.
Hey, what episode this is? We gotta.
That's it. This is 24. I normally say it in the beginning. Right. The goal was always to get to 26.
When we get to 50 and then we get to 100, man. You already know what it is. Shout out to the haters too, because we appreciate you guys too. The people who said that nobody listens to our podcast.
Well, you can shout out.
Shout out to y'all.
We always.
At the end of the day, yeah, people who got nothing negative to say, you probably ain't got nothing to do with your life. Positive to do with your life anyway, so we don't really care. It is what it is. And we ain't saying no names. Dallas said to me a week ago, like if it was a week ago, he probably would have shot people with names. Yeah, we ain't gonna do that. But at the end of the day, shout out to the haters. We love y'all.
I had some rapid fire.
I ain't got no love.
Rapid fire.
Yeah, I had some boom 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 boom, but I'm gonna let it go. I'm being the better person and not punching down and all that. Yeah. But G said it all. Shout out to the haters too, because a listener listen and a stream is a stream. But thank you guys for listening on episode 24 of the Make It Make Sense podcast. You can follow me at $M.I.M.S on YouTube, Instagram, all of them networks, and all of them networks. You know where we at. And shout out to the person, because I actually do respond to comments that said we was safe talking about Tekashi in our podcast studio. Listen, anything we say on this podcast, we will say to people's faces.
And that's how we really
everything you heard us say today about friends, foes, haters, and lovers alike, we would say it to their face.
Right to their face.
So just remember that, all right?
Real friends.
But on that,
how many?
Every time we say, leave a comments, but we will respond, we mean it.
I gotta say this. They made it seem like Tekashi's the threat. He ain't a threat to nobody. Anyway, he probably ain't even listening. So, we happy you listen.
But anyway, again, I don't think we say anything crazy. And if we do, we stand behind it.
Facts.
But anyway, on that note, it's your boy Dollars with G's and Red.
You already know.
Red the regular. At this point, she's been here more than Cash. But
shots fired.
Pew, pew, pew.
Shots fired.
Yeah,
boom,
right?
boom, boom, boom.
Well, anyway, when we get him off the show, we could just call me Cash, the original Dundada anyway. But anyway, y'all.
Whoa.
It's Make It Make Sense.
You already
Dollars,
know.
Red, G's. You already.
Later.
Always wondered why niggas envied me. Your bitchy attitudes and remarks just never offended me. Know your identity before you try to pretend to me. In tune with the enemy, so my enemy won't be the end of me. Hands on the wheel, I hold them 10 to 3. I'm riding filthy. In a sense, that's why they'll find me guilty. Riding shoddy is my homie. In the future, he'll probably try to kill me. But presently, that thought I find it silly. To my surprise, the thought of my demise is fantasized amongst niggas who plan to rise. You can't trust the friends of feeling you can't describe. Shit, now I meditate with my heat up. In a McLaren, trying to self-medicate with my seats up. Demonstrate how these streets tough, just keep up. I'm in a space, let me reiterate. Never celebrate with your re-up, dummy. You half-stepping, pick your feet up, sonny. The last second to the speak up for me. Just do the math, see who will laugh when you on top and you finally slip up. Why should you keep a nigga down that you finally could lift up? Your brother came to you and said he gon' need him a quick plug. You denied him and then he watched you throw ones in a strip club. Damn, hate in his eyes while you showing this bitch love. Cause the money wasted on shorty, he uses to flip drugs. I give up, where's all his loyalty? Let's switch it. You give him the money, he buys the drugs, gets locked and now he needs lawyer fees. Damn, so before you say all them niggas hating, don't place yourself inside this situation. Yeah, try to avoid it when this shit is waiting. You gave him hell, now come and sit with Satan.